Hello everyone, my name is Peter Schaknat. I am the Managing Director of Schaknat Electronic GmbH, and today we are optimizing an R95 scanner. Today we have a really awesome vehicle for you here, a brand new Scania R590 with the new Euro 6e engine, the Show EMS 10 control unit, and of course the new overdrive transmission. It's an uproll keeper, which is a really awesome chassis, as you can clearly see, a very nice color too, and the rims, we can take a quick look at them as well. This model is available as a 530, 590 and 660 horsepower version. We now have the mid-range version in the series with the new overdrive transmission. We will be programming the engine and transmission again with our new Schaknat App. We also already have all the latest engine control unit versions included. So, as I said, we can already flash EMS 10 and the new TMS 3 transmissions, that is the new overdrive transmission, with our app, and we can also read and clear error codes. As you can see, this is a roll-off tipper, basically a roll-off truck. Inside the container, it's been equipped with both a hook and a router. It's all been so incredibly well done. And just look at all of these custom covers and panels. The customer who owns this did a really fantastic job with it. There's a lot of love put into this. Beautiful paintwork. A gorgeous car. You know it yourselves, I love V8 engines. Especially the new versions, to see what's still possible, what kind of performance we can get out of them, and what kind of fuel efficiency we can achieve. The other employee has already unstrapped the car. As you can see, the new scanners also have a dyno mode, so we can measure the rear axle. We're going to take another look to see whether we measure wheel power or engine power, since this one also has a very long wheelbase. What always interests me, or actually what's most important, is what actually reaches the wheels. So what do we get here? That's what we measure, because at the end of the day, that's what counts on the road and what the customer actually feels in terms of torque and power. All right, it's strapped down at the back. It has 3,000 Newton meters of original torque. It's a DC16 V8 engine, a 16.4 liter machine. 3,000 Newton meters, as you know, that's some serious torque. That is precisely why we've got it set at 4 tons. We pulled the hydraulic cylinders back in Tyrol specifically so that we have enough traction for today. Now, to begin, let's take a thorough look at the initial measurement to get our baseline numbers. After we've done that, we'll see each other again over at the monitor to review the data. All right, we've now successfully completed the initial measurement, and Dennis, I haven't forgotten about you. Hey there, it's good to see you once again. First off, congratulations on this absolutely beautiful car. It is truly a gorgeous thing to behold. And that V8 under the hood, what an awesome engine, which is perfectly matched with an equally awesome transmission. The whole setup is just incredible. We now have an initial measurement for you, which I will briefly explain to you. So Dennis, take a look. Down here you can see the torque curve. Here you can see the RPMs from 900 to 2100, 2200 revolutions. Over here you can see the torque axis. And here is the horsepower axis. The bottom 2 curves were both measured in 11th gear, measured as reference curves. The top curve shows the peak power. What all the newer engines have, especially the V8s, you can see the maximum torque comes in somewhere around 1000, but it quickly reaches 1300 and then already starts to drop off again. You can see here now, Danny, we measured the maximum torque at the wheels because, as I mentioned, due to the long drive shaft, since we know the direct power at the wheels, we have 2,750 Newton meters of maximum torque from 1,000 to 1,300, and then it already starts to drop off. Wheel power up here, as you can see, is just under 520 horsepower. For the Caravelle, you can add about 70 horsepower for the drive shaft. Between 60 and 80 horsepower, you take the average value. So you see, you have pretty much exactly the stock power, and it fits. Stock torque is also correct, 3,000 at the engine. At the axle, we get 250, so that's a 250 loss, which is actually perfect as well. What we really want to achieve with the optimization, which you already criticized, is that it drops off relatively quickly. So we want to reach the maximum output a little bit earlier, and especially when you're driving in hilly terrain where it goes up and down, that it holds the torque up here for a longer period of time so that it doesn't drop off from the maximum available torque so quickly. You'll also notice that in the shifting and in the fuel consumption, you can also intervene manually in the transmission. The transmissions are adaptive and capable of learning. That is how you will notice the shift points. I will show you exactly how to do that with the application. Then you will be flashing the truck all by yourself, and then just come over with me. The small one is down here on the right. In the footwell, the AB standing connector. As I said, the car is spotless, everything nice and clean. So, you see here, you have the adapter, and now you plug it in down here. It's always important to turn on the Zyno first. I'll do that quickly now. Then you see the Schaknat App here. It's always important. First turn on the Zyno, then plug in the adapter, and then open the app. There are no difficulties with that either. Now you go here, open the app, and select Scania. Open adapter settings. The whole thing works via Bluetooth. I need to connect to the adapter for that. Let's go to Bluetooth here. Let's turn it on. So now you see the OBD Link MX here. Click on Connect. Now you see it's connected. Then you can go back to Schaknat at the top here. Then your phone will automatically retrieve the data, like the IQW chassis number and everything else. So now you see here, now you can select engine here and optimize your transmission. This way you can individually adjust the performance of the transmission. You can test for yourself what suits you better, and you can see what works best for you in terms of fuel consumption or for your specific use case. At the top under DTCs, you can also read and clear error codes. What might also be quite interesting for you is that if you're on the road and you have a problem and you're carrying an important load and don't know what's wrong, at least you can do this. Read out the error codes and then decide whether it's a serious issue. You need to go to the workshop immediately, or sometimes we just have some sporadic errors, and you can clear such error codes yourself. So it's a really cool feature that we always have with us. As I said, we're going to optimize the engine first. We're now going to do a flash eco optimization to save fuel. So you can see here, the progress bar is running now. It's always important that nothing goes wrong during programming. So don't turn off the ignition, don't do anything to the adapter, and don't answer your phone. Because if during these 1.5 minutes it doesn't finish writing, then obviously the car won't start afterwards. So that's always very important. It's best to just leave it alone for a moment. It's just a minute, so you can easily wait. If it does crash, which can happen from time to time because maybe the connection is not 100% or something, you always have the option to recover. As long as the adapter isn't broken, you can always flash it again. But of course, if you don't interrupt the process, it usually works the first time. Now you'll see the 100% in a moment. There you can see the green check mark as if you heard a click in the background. Then it's finished flashing. First, we'll do the engine, and in parallel, the transmission. Let's go into the transmission control unit. And now you can see we're doing the eco optimization here. This goes faster, and you also hear a click. So now at the end we can go back again, because sometimes there are CAN bus errors. Now we're reading out all the error memories from the control units again. This way, in every control unit, whether it's the brakes, coordinator, ICL, or engine control, you can read out all the errors completely or just from the individual control units. And in the event of an emergency, you can also run some diagnostic checks. For our purposes, it is still very important. We have bottles. We can simply clear out the errors so that nothing problematic accumulates. Or after the test bench, if any of the distance temperature sensors happen to show errors, you can quickly clear them this way. So as you saw, no errors. Then we go back into the app because it doesn't say Mercedes-Benz or Renault. Then we're basically done. And let's see what the output performance delivers. So I've now done the baseline measurement. Let's take a quick look at the graph together now. You heard the sound during the measurement. As I said, it's a V8, also in terms of the soundscape. Sure, the tires drown out everything else, but you already noticed, the equipper really has power, and the sound was really cool too. So I think for you as a customer, it's also quite an experience to see something like this on the test bench. Now let's take a look at the measurement. You can see here, we have the original measurement twice. Now we have both as wheel power again, because I said we want a direct comparison. You can see here, the blue curve is the optimized one. You can clearly see that it now starts much earlier and reaches its maximum torque considerably earlier than it did originally. It rises again here, and that's exactly what I mentioned. Between 1050 and 1450 revolutions per minute, it now has its maximum torque. It only starts to drop off quite slowly after that point. So right here in the very same area where the original curve dropped off significantly, you now have a great deal more torque available. Just a quick comparison again. Previously, we measured 2,700 kilometers per hour here, and now we have 3,150. So that's 450 Newton meters more torque. That's enormous. So you can tell from the engine, it's identical to the 660 model. So we do have some headroom upwards. The 660 has 3,300 Newton meters as standard. So now it's a bit more powerful than a stock 660. You can also see that up here in the wheel power. We now have 630 horsepower at the wheels. If you extrapolate that using the same formula we used before, we're at 710 horsepower. So just think about it. That's a solid amount of power, a solid amount of torque. A lot of people always ask me, saying the more power I have, the more fuel I'll need as well. But that always depends. In this case, the vehicle was also operated accordingly. Even then, if you want to save fuel, I make it possible to save fuel, but you have to use the software accordingly. So you notice, if you have torque at low revs, you can ease off the gas pedal a bit, so it uses the torque down low, and then you'll automatically save fuel as well. Of course, you have the power available, but we're always talking about engine and transmission optimization. We don't want to compromise the longevity of the vehicle. We want it to last as long as possible. And as I said, we've parameterized the transmission for that. So, for the next 1,000 kilometers, go ahead and assist with certain shift patterns. So it learns those points, so it learns your shifting strategy. Well, I think we can be satisfied with the result, right? Absolutely. You also have the app available from me right here now. The adapter, so you can reflash it yourself, even if you get software updates, or if there aren't any, you can automatically reflash it here again. As I said, here are also two of our Hugo Boss air fresheners. You can hang them up nicely. They have a good scent, they smell nice too. As I said, feel free to try it out. I hope you're satisfied. So thank you very much and see you next time. Take care, bye-bye. We've now reached the end of our video about the engine and transmission optimization of the Scania R590, the new model. It was a lot of fun today, as you can see, a really awesome chassis. The customer was here himself today as well, and he really enjoyed it. Seeing the test bench measurement is quite an experience. Watching something like that at high speeds, 11th gear, direct gear, hearing the soundscape as well. Also flashing with the app yourself. So, as I said, I also had a great time today with the customer, explaining everything directly to people. If you're interested in learning more about this topic, feel free to check out our website at www.schaknat.de. You can easily send us an email, contact us via WhatsApp, or simply give us a call. We're always happy to advise you personally. I'll say thank you in advance. It's already late in the evening, last video. You can see it. I'm already a bit worn out. All the best to you. See you next time. Take care. Ciao.